Father Dave, we are in Indianapolis, our first show on the road.
Wait, you didn't give me a countdown. Are we starting?
Yeah, can we start again?
No, that's okay. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
It's just like when we're home. We still have no idea
It's
what we're doing.
unbelievable. It's as much as all the time that we spend talking together and hanging out, we don't have any chemistry.
Absolutely not.
It's all your fault.
But we are at, just finished NCYC. Spent 3 days. We've been here since Thursday with 23 students from St. John's. And the thought tonight was to let them reflect a little bit.
Do you want to explain what NCYC stands for?
I could explain what it stands for. National Catholic Youth Conference.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a National Catholic Youth Conference.
Isn't that what you just said?
It is. And you know what I'm realizing now? This is not going to be edited because that would have been edited out.
You're going to get everybody out there. You're going to get all this raw, and it's going to make us really look bad.
Yeah.
You know, you might actually probably unsubscribe us. But NCYC is this organization that runs every 2 years, and they meet in Indianapolis, where most years there's 20 to 25,000 young people in attendance, taking up Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Indianapolis Colts play. This year, because of restrictions, we were able to have 12,000 people. Mm-hmm. So what just an awesome experience.
Yeah, it really is. And I think we were reflecting a few times how we just wish the people in the pews, no matter where you are in the country or in the world, could see the church like this, right?
Yeah.
Could see it happy, see it full of energy. It would do so much for evangelization. And Steve Agrisano said something, the songwriter and singer and youth minister from Texas. And he said, people are going to tell you that starting tomorrow when we're home that they're leaving and going back into the real world. Mm. And Steve made a great point. He said, no, this is the real world. Yeah. The other world's different. Mm-hmm.
It needs the juice. It needs the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we have those. We have the juice with us.
That's right.
So we have. We're going to be calling in and out students, whoever wants to be with us tonight, to talk a little bit.
This is exciting because this is actually the first time that we're able to have guests.
Yeah. We have 4 microphones.
Gang, I wish you could actually see this. The one thing I am disappointed about Costa is that we were supposed to have this video too, and he disappointed.
What?
I mean, he got all the microphones. I mean, it looks very professional in here, but he disappointed me.
You will believe the effort I personally made to get these out here. We ordered all this stuff, and it came in on Tuesday, and it didn't work like I thought. So we reordered and had all the stuff shipped to Indianapolis. So it was here in the hotel we got there. And we were just commenting, we're not entirely sure how we're getting it back.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to stuff it in different suitcases.
Yeah.
Well, that being said.
So why don't you guys introduce yourself and say your name and what grade you're in, maybe what brought you here, something you got out of the weekend, something that you noticed. So.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kira. I'm from Long Island, New York, and am I too far away? Right. Shall we start?
Keep going. It's fine.
Let's see. I'm in Indianapolis. If all you people watching me, all my friends are very hi, Kira. I came here because it was in Indianapolis, and I've never been on a plane ride with my parents before, and I was like, you know what? Why not? My friends are going. So, I saw my mom, and she was like, no. Because I have ADHD, so I probably get lost immediately, the first 5 seconds. Probably go to the wrong terminal. Probably get on the wrong plane. So she was like, Kira, I don't really want you to do it. I'm like, what if I prove to you that I can do it? I promise you, I can be legit. I can legit focus. So she's like, you know what, fine. My dad was like, no, you're not going. He was the more one that's you're not going. Too much money. You're gonna spend too much money. So they kind of argued a little bit. I was in the background, I was kind of
And since you've been here, what have you gotten out of it? Did anything surprise you?
Well, I'm really glad I was able to go. And something that really surprised me was, I think everybody can agree that the gospel rapping, I kind of saw it and I was like, oh, I was not expecting this at all. I was more expecting like bands and like instruments, which we did get. But the first night with the rapping and everything, I was like, wow, this is definitely super interesting. I've never really heard people rapping about God. I liked it. I liked the fact that it was like a new genre of music that I never was able to experience. And I really did like it. I always like the new artists that I was able to see. Like now I'm definitely gonna go to my hotel room, like go on Spotify and like listen to all their music. And I did like it. I liked like how everybody was super hyped. How everybody, like, even though we were all like jet lagged and tired, I liked how we were all like jumping around and getting excited and participating. And that was like really cool to me.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a genre either, and it turns out, Father Dave, that's your thing. You know a lot about that.
Yeah, my brother and I, that's like a big thing for us. Yeah.
So I'm my eyes were open too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm also in Indianapolis, if you didn't know. Well, what got me to go, my friends are going, and I really just wanted to get away from everything and just, like, get closer with Jesus and just, I don't go to church often, if I'm being honest. So going to this really helped me. And my mom is very, very hesitant on letting me go. I'm not responsible. She does not trust me at all. So it took me a while to convince her to let me go. And I had to save up all my birthday money for this. Like, I couldn't waste it on things I wanted. I just saved it up for this. And I don't regret it because this was a very fun experience. And it helped me a lot in, like, personal ways. Like, this weekend really, like, hit people personally, like, with the music and the talks. Like, it really helped me personally, spiritually, and helped me get closer with God. And just helped me realize a lot of different things about myself. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's your number one takeaway? Without thinking about it too much, your number one takeaway, the thing you can remember most.
Like both of us, or just her? Am I like out of
No, you
this?
could try me, sure.
Okay.
We didn't turn your mic off.
Okay, good.
I only do that to Father Dave, don't worry.
You can go first, Christina.
All right.
I'm just curious.
Well, just, like, this weekend really taught me to, like, I guess, care more about myself and what I want. Like, and not really care what other people think, because it doesn't really matter what other people think, because God will always be with me. And I should care what I think, not what other people think.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I think it really made me see like more of self-love, and it opened my eyes to like the Catholic religion. Like, I'm not Catholic myself, but I have family members who are Catholic, and going to church with them is very boring because I'm like, I'm Christian, so like the church there is very like upbeat, everybody's clapping. With them, it's like, kind of sleepy. I'm kind of a little, like, no offense, I'm a little drowsy. But with this, I was actually like really like participant. I was very like, I had a very big mindset going in, and I was actually like excited. I was like excited, and I was very aware of like what I was being like learned, like what I was like learning, and like the Gospels and everything. So I definitely did like, that was like my like the best part was being able to like finally be able to like want to go to church and wanting to hear what God was wanting to teach me that day.
Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for doing that. You're very brave.
Great.
We'll take anybody else who wants to come up. So, Father Dave, while we're switching and switching headsets and chairs and all that stuff, we're staying at a Marriott right in downtown Indianapolis. We got out here Thursday, and I called their reservation, not reservations, but I called their like banquet services, right? And asked, could we have a room? We wanted a room, like a conference room on Thursday night for like a little reflection. We wanted this room tonight, and they could not have been nicer. They were great. They were really great. But what I didn't think to ask them for is, could you like cordon off the hall outside of us? Because I don't know if you're listening and you could hear this. I think you might not be able to. I could hear it through my headphones. There's like a party going on outside of these teenagers that just came from the same place, and they're banging on the piano and
banging on our doors.
Yeah, they were. They actually. I thought they were going to like break in or something. And you know how little patience I have for things like that.
No, no.
I almost went out and gave them a look.
Yeah, guys, he almost actually did, though. I see the look on his face. I know him well enough now. Well,
so
here we go. We got the next two rock
you guys
stars
introduce
here.
yourselves.
Yeah, get close. There you go. So,
Hi, my name is Sophia Scarpa. I'm I'm currently in Indianapolis. I'm Sophia Scarpa. I'm a senior at St. John's.
And you know, Sophia is the reason we're here.
we're going to tell that story in a second.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah, let's let the other one.
The other one go.
The other one go.
Hi, my name is Paige. I'm also a senior at St. John's. I'm currently in Indianapolis, with Sophia. And unfortunately, Mr. Costa and Father Dave, but last day.
Thanks,
so
Paige.
We're getting there.
Love you, Paige.
You know, Paige could be a regular on this. She roasts us more than we do.
She really could. Paige would run it. She would run the show.
So before you go, Soph, all right? So I just want to start everybody. I want everybody to know this, that Sophia Scarpa really is the reason why we're all here. So we had plans to do this this year, and then COVID hit. And then over the summer, we had found out that a lot of the things that were going to happen were not going to happen for NCYC. There were going to be a lot of restrictions. And after we heard what the restrictions were, Miss Madalena Costa and myself had said, we're not going. This would not be fun, the way they're going to have this organized and set up. Well, all of a sudden, the school year starts, and Sophia is maybe even cutting class. I don't even know. She was just hanging out in Costa's office, which really makes me wonder why she hangs out with Costa. And
I've never understood that for any student, honestly, to be honest about it.
She's hanging out, and she just says, so why aren't we going to NCYC? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, well, my best friend at Holy Trinity High School is going. Right, Soph?
Yeah. She had it. We have a shared calendar. And she was talking about it all summer, and I saw it on her calendar, and I was like, oh man, we're missing out, because she does not stop talking about it. And I was under the impression that we were going, so me being me, I was like, you know what?
Oh, you thought we were?
Yeah.
It was actually in the school calendar.
Yeah, it was.
We just weren't going to it.
Like they show up on the school calendar, and then they just randomly disappear.
Yeah, so,
So we were going to...
I expected it.
So she's sitting there, like, looking at Costa, and she just says, why aren't we going? And then once she told him that everything was going to be normal...
I checked on the computer.
He checked on the computer, and then 2 months of the Costa tornado of organizing this.
Well, this was really I think the last time we went, we didn't even organize it. It was a diocese, and we started in the spring. And this time, it was maybe the middle of September that Madalena and I kind of dove into it.
Yeah.
So
well, the conversation, like, I was under the impression that, that very day you had decided that you did not want to travel with students.
Yes!
I did say that.
Sophia, thank you!
It just shows you I don't listen to a thing I say.
I did learn that information after the discussion.
Can we just clarify why I don't want to travel with students? It's not like I don't like students.
No, I didn't mean
it was COVID.
Oh, for Rona. But Rona reasons, that's understandable.
Just kind of seems like a little bit of an
Thanks for your
excuse.
validation. I appreciate that.
No.
Yeah, I'm always here to validate your feelings, just like you do for me.
So what did you talk about the experience this weekend? What did you both see? What did you feel?
Coming from a background of being a transfer student and having other family issues that go on in my life, on day 2, we spoke.
Keep talking, but you want to come a little closer to the mic.
We spoke a lot about family situations, adoption, divorce, having like influential parental figures in your life, and coming from someone who didn't necessarily have that. I think it was very inspirational, and I just want to share with you to take that time to forgive and to keep growing as a person, and never forget that God is with you and He's there to help you. And a lot of things you can't completely forget, but you can forgive. So I just want to invite you to take that and to let that really sink in and see where that'll take you with your faith.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there were so many beautiful aspects of this conference. and so many lessons that, and just things that I've taken away from this. But the one thing I think that got me the most is I had mentioned this before in the group, is just the vulnerability aspect of our faith, and how something like vulnerability in general is scary, and it's against our human nature, I think, naturally, because we want to protect ourselves. That's just our innate nature. And so things such as confession in our faith, it's very difficult. It's uncomfortable. And, I've been Catholic. I've grown up Catholic. I've gone to Catholic school since kindergarten. So my entire life I've spent going to church almost every Sunday, like going to confession at least every 6 months. So you would think that I'd be comfortable with it, but it's hard to be. So what I realized at this conference was that that this vulnerability, that it's okay, and it's very difficult to open our hearts up to it. And I had pestered Father Dave the day before we left for confession. I walked into his office and I essentially demanded that I confess my sins to him. And I'm glad that I did that.
By the way, you could do better, but go ahead.
So I'm glad that I did that. And I kind of use it as a way of like opening the door before we actually arrived at this conference, to just open my heart to letting God in and this vulnerability. And then I went to confession a second time, and that made me super duper aware and more conscious about like the very little, what I would normally consider petty things, but they're real, and just like really made me hone in on my everyday actions. But this whole idea of vulnerability, like that is just the purest form of God's love and acceptance. Like we do not have to change. He accepts us and loves us and all of our brokenness and all of our sins. And that's just physical proof that, we can sin, we can do, whatever. And as long as we recognize that that's wrong, and at the end of the day, we go back to him and we ask for his forgiveness, he will always forgive us with open arms, no matter what state of brokenness or just incompletion that we're in, and whatever we're going through, he loves us and he accepts us. And I think confirmation and this conference really just exemplified like what that was. And
that was a persistent theme all weekend about the acceptance. You reminded me of something the Sisters of Life in their litany have. It's a series of phrases, and from the rebellion against childlike dependency on you, deliver me, Jesus. When you talk about that vulnerability, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to let that go too, especially in our culture where we're asked to be self-sufficient. And if we have our act together, and sometimes that act together is really given by society because they want us to buy something to keep our act together. But even if it's not something like that, it's not a virtue in the way we're brought up to be vulnerable. But we can't meet God otherwise. So that was beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys have any other thoughts? Anything else you saw, or?
You want to have any nice compliments that you want to share with me?
No, Paige isn't going to do that.
Not for either of you. But I do definitely think that the whole trip was very rewarding and very eye-opening. And if you do have the time to check out some of the YouTube videos online, or
that's a great idea.
Even just listen to this podcast. Actually, don't go to YouTube. Just listen to us because we're better anyway. But
that's the attitude.
But it really is. It really is just so eye-opening, and just it's such an amazing experience, and it's something you can't even describe. It probably sounds sketchy saying, oh yeah, just go a few states over to something we can't describe to you. It's amazing, but trust me when it's definitely something you want to experience.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. I also got to say this too really quick about Paige, is that like total respect here. Like she paid for every dime of this trip for herself.
She did.
She did.
Right. Yeah.
She worked so hard for it.
She worked hard for this.
All power to you, girl.
Good. Yeah, that's credit to you, girl.
On very little notice, like we were saying.
No, I know. You hustled.
Yeah, like 5
you hustled.
Yes. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
Also, like the best roommate I could ask for. So,
so love you.
Who knows?
So Father Dave, we do have to do a shout out to your friend Heather.
Yeah, Heather.
So actually, Heather and I were chatting on Facebook today.
Oh, you are?
Because she's running tomorrow, right?
Yeah, she's doing the
Philadelphia Marathon.
So, originally what was scheduled was Heather, you and I, and Yatsik, her husband, was supposed to go down to Philadelphia
on Sunday, whatever tomorrow is, the 21st.
The 21st,
Yeah.
and we were going to run the Philadelphia Marathon,
Mm-hmm.
and my knees kind of gave out in September,
And I lost interest.
You lost interest.
I ran all summer. I ran right up until the beginning of September.
Right,
I was
and then-
up to 12, 13 miles.
And then you gave me that concerning look on your face. It was like, I'm just too overwhelmed right now. I got too many things going on.
I was.
and then you threw this curveball. Wait,
And
we're
then
going to
they wound
NCYC.
up coming out here anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, we want to give her a shout out because
Yep.
probably about this point right now, tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
she said she's going to listen to the podcast. She'll probably be crossing the finish line.
That's awesome.
When she's hearing us give her shout out.
It is the greatest. It's. I should say the greatest feeling. It's a very, very satisfying feeling, and you can't. Once you've done it, you've done it.
Yeah.
Like there's no going back.
And she's been training hard.
Good
She's
for
been
her.
training hard. So,
Yeah.
Heather, shout out to you, girl.
And
We
just-
hope you. I prayed for you at Mass today that you'd have the strength tomorrow.
Heather, if I could just mention something, though, don't put on the podcast till after you're done with the race, because this is not going to help you. You're just going to give up and jump in a river in Philadelphia somewhere. It's better than listening.
She told me she was gonna play this for the last 12 minutes that she had to run.
Yeah, I've never read that in a strategy for finishing a marathon. But Heather, go for it.
So who do
But
we got?
good luck tomorrow.
Oh, here we go. We got Danny Boy and we got Gwen. All right, get closer. Get closer.
You want to get a rap to the mic, guys?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Gwen. I'm a junior. We're all in Indiana. I don't know why we keep saying.
I think
where
that
we
I was saying all of us are in a room in Indiana.
like
It would be odd
different.
if someone wasn't in Indiana right now. Well, let's mention that if you come up to talk to the mic and you're not in Indiana, you can say that. That was funny. But thank you for pointing that out.
All right, so my name is Daniel Villanueva, the better Villanueva.
Debatable.
Is it really?
So Dan, what did you see? What did you experience this weekend that might have been new, surprising?
I'd say, I've always been really into music. I've always really been into music, so when I started listening to all the music and I started hearing all the lyrics, it sort of just gave me another perspective on, the different sort of point of views that people have on certain topics of life and things like that. And I'd say that if it wasn't in the form of music, I don't think I would have taken as much of a deeper meaning.
Interesting.
As I would have.
And music's always been part of the church tradition. It was so cool to see it changing so much. Yeah. Was there a particular genre? Because we heard a few things. We heard some Latin. We heard rap. We heard worship and praise music. Is there any either particular song that you liked or a particular way it was expressed that you liked?
I'd say probably one of the most strangest, but still probably influential one was the first day when we listened to the rap.
The rap, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
Right.
But I do like that even then you expect in rap for these artists I don't know, just anyone. I don't listen to rap. I don't know. But you just expect all these people to talk about different things in life, but they're all talking about their own perspectives, but it's never really related to sort of religion in any sense. It's always related to their own point of views on just real life and their philosophies. But I think with this sort of religious rap music, it sort of intertwines modern society's form of music and religion together, which I think it helps people understand what this religion is really about. And
I think one of the things that church for so long has done well, it's met people where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I just learned something today by listening to someone else's podcast. So you guys see the monstrance that was on the altar for adoration yesterday?
Yeah.
And that came from the church's attempt to put it in the middle of what other civilizations would have worshipped as the sun, but to assimilate their symbols. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you're talking about, Dan. So that's cool. I'm really happy you like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a good thing that I realized, and it's more just it's gonna help my ego and maybe destroy Father's Dave's Because it's very important that you hear the real truth.
Did Mr. Costa pay you off right now?
No,
No,
I'm
this
getting
is for
nervous
my
right now.
own ego.
This is for your own ego. Okay,
Yes.
here you go.
And then I have my, in general one, the one that's normal. I beat Father Dave at Mario Kart, and he lost a bet, and he had to buy me lunch, and he keeps saying that, he let me win.
He's
I
not
wasn't
very honorable
crying.
with these things, Gwen. I've been on the receiving end of this too, so I understand what you're saying.
I wasn't crying, he was.
I saw
witness.
a teardrop.
Yeah,
I
it was
saw
your
a
own
teardrop.
tear.
I might have lost to her
I was in first
Mario
place.
Kart. I might have lost.
You were in 10th.
So
what else did you say?
Outside of taking my money.
You lost it yourself. You flipped the coin. But then, other than that, it was that everyone shared their different views on the church and everything. And usually when I'm not very Catholic or anything, but when I think about that, it's very hardcore and everything. But there were some people there that were more relaxed, like the magician guy, and he was really chill and everything. And he told him about his struggles with his identity in Christianity and any stuff. And yeah, and this isn't very related, but we talked about how some churches are very old school still before, and the church I went to still said, and also with you. So when I came to St. John's and we had our first mass and everyone said with your spirit, I was the only one going, and also with you. And
I didn't know churches were still doing that.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
they not accepted the new? That was 2009 or something.
I didn't know. We didn't know. And so, it's still some
It's like you've been time warped into 2021. That's so funny.
Welcome to reality, Gwen.
The altar was still against the back wall. The priest says back to you.
Yeah.
You know, it was in English.
Oh, well, this is awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you for lying, now
This wasn't a
publicly.
lie.
I saw Costa slipper at 20 under the table.
I don't need to bribe them. You give them enough ammunition. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, guys.
For coming
Thanks.
on. I appreciate
Awesome.
it.
All right, who's next? Uh-oh. You definitely did, Gwen. You crushed it completely.
Truth has to be spoken. I don't know what to tell you.
So why don't you guys introduce yourself? You want to speak right as close to the mic as you can, so we don't have to adjust the levels.
Hi, I'm Savannah Hawaii. I'm a sophomore.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm a junior.
So what did you guys see? Tell me about. Tell the listeners about your experience.
Well, I kind of saw that we all kind of came closer, as a group, because we all know each other from school and walk in the halls. But when we were in the stadium or just at talks, there's this flow of energy that we all connected. And I feel like when we go back home and we see each other in school, it's gonna be more different, because we'll see each other in a different light, and we're all friends. Some of us have our friends here, and we saw each other in a different light, more of kind of a God way. We all connected in a different energy.
It's a beautiful thing, and I think one of the dynamics that'll happen on Monday when you're back to school is you'll see each other, and you know that whatever happened this weekend can't really be explained. It was one of these, you had to be there. And there's a very, like you keep saying, there's a cool connection. There's a much different energy to that. So it's very well said. Thank you for that.
Liz, can I just put you on the spot real quick for a second?
Oh, God.
Who do you really like more? Is it me or Costa? You could tell the truth.
Really? You're doing this?
Yeah, why not? Why
Okay.
not? Because I know I trust her.
I don't, no comment.
No comment. Liz, you were supposed to say me.
It's Father Dave.
He's-
I feel like Savannah should answer.
Very good deflection. Very
Costa's-
good.
Pass it to me.
Costa is throwing a lot of money out right now out of his pockets.
This should be off record.
Off record. Can you strike that, please?
No editing this time.
All right, Sabrina, Savannah, Samantha, whatever your name is.
As like Liz said, something I really liked was like I have spent so much time with some of these people, maybe too much time.
You're delirious.
Maybe too much time, but like I've like been with them for like the past 2 years now, so like I know some of them really, really, really well, some of them not so well, but it was very interesting to see like some of my best friends like worshiping and doing all the different things together that like I haven't really seen that side of them. Like we're all like always happy-go-lucky, like funny, like we're 15, that's what we do. But it was interesting to see like not people in a more serious way, but like really like understanding what they were doing and like seeing like them like their eyes light up and like having that connection. I thought that was really special. And like I feel like sometimes when you're praying or when like you're trying to worship, it feels like you can be like alone and like stiff and very like this way, that way. And like I felt like with the music and all of us like swaying together, like it felt like very together and like more comforting to be able to do it with like all your best friends that you've known for a while. So I really liked that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
That's
I got
awesome.
to I got to hang out with Father Dave, so it was a good weekend.
Yes. Oh man, check's in the mail, girl. The check is in the mail.
I think these kids need some sleep.
Yeah, she's full blown delirious.
Was there one moment that stuck out for you? Like, any like number one takeaway? Like as soon as you get home, you're gonna tell your parents this is like the coolest thing I saw. And it doesn't have to. It might not be an answer to that, but was there anything for either of you?
The moment where we all like cried, like the whole stadium cried.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
Sister
Miriam?
Sister
Yeah,
Miriam.
she started crying. That was it. I started bawling. And, like, when he said, like, the adoption thing, I felt like this past year I've been trying to get back into the church and stuff. And I feel like that moment I was, like, adopted by God again, which was,
that is
like,
so
made
cool.
me... I started bawling. Like, not, like, physically, maybe you can see it, but, like, inside, it was just so beautiful, that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's a very private thing. So thank you. And what if everybody could feel that?
Yeah.
You know, and I think the speakers and Sister Miriam at that point, like, she's so real. They were all so real and being very vulnerable in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, Dante talks about when he in the Paradiso, when he sees God, all he can do, well, not him but the character, all he can do is cry. That's the experience. When we're exposed to something so beautiful, we can't even comprehend it, and that's what I think that happened to a lot of people. And you know, and that's God working in our lives. So, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
Liz,
awesome.
you are not lying, because as soon as he said that, and we'll build on this in a moment. Yeah, as soon as he said that about Brian said that about adoption.
Yeah.
Oh man, there wasn't a dry eye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. Crying. What about you? What was your one takeaway moment?
One moment that I really loved is the talk that we were at today. When everyone started singing, the Grace name came up, and I have a very personal connection to like the name Grace and Gracie. So like I didn't even know why, but like I started crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm crying, and like I couldn't figure out why, and like one of my friends just hugged me, and like I was like I really needed that, like I needed like that connection, and like to have that moment with like one of my best friends ever, and like to have like that whole like that little moment. Like I feel like I didn't know I needed it till like I heard the name, and I was like my mind just went somewhere else, and like I felt like in that moment like, oh my gosh, like this is it, like this is what I've been waiting for this whole weekend, like I finally had it. So I really liked that.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. But you guys were way too comfortable on this. I like the
They
first
all have
time.
been. It's amazing.
This is unbelievable. Like the first time we did this, like I was like really nervous.
Yeah.
And we didn't even like go like live with it. We were
No,
just
no,
recording
no.
it.
Yeah.
We can't all be stars.
Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Father, one of the things that happened tonight at Mass is the Archbishop of Indianapolis, Archbishop Thompson, stood in for Archbishop Perez, who wasn't able to be there. And what a magnificent job he did. I think it's, if you're not used to working with any particular group, it shows. And he nailed it.
Oh, he did.
His homily was fantastic. He
was
had the
excellent.
students, chanting back to him, but he had them. And there was one moment he had them repeating. What a clever thing he was doing, too. If he felt he was losing them, he would say something, and he said, everybody, if you respond back to me in the way I'll tell you, I will, if you don't do it, I'm going to increase the homily by 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So every time he did it, he would say, okay, you just saved yourself another 10 minutes.
There was a loud 10,000 people cheering out what he told them to repeat.
But it's ironic, too, because it was one of those homilies where you weren't waiting for it to end. Because it was very good. But then he used the word, what was it? Ablaze.
Ablaze.
He used it later on in the homily, but forgot the instructions, and everybody just shouted back to him. And he kind of chuckled. He said, I didn't really think that one out. But what a nice surprise that was. He was fantastic.
And just before we have these two rock stars come on, just to get back to Liz's point about when one of the MCs wrapping up the first session talk yesterday, Friday morning, he was speaking about the theme was the spirit of adoption, quoting St. Paul, and how like for somebody to adopt a child is to really be actively engaged in loving another person, like and seeking out and searching for someone to love, and how that was related to how the Father is with us. He's searching and he's desiring to love us. And when at the end of the session, the MC, Brian, was it Whitfield?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
He was amazing as well.
And he just, as a dad, had just apologized on behalf of all dads who have messed up in some way, who had failed to live out their commitment as a father, who had failed to live up to the promise and their calling. And at that moment, there were a lot of tears at that time. You know, that's what Liz was referring to.
Absolutely.
And that's what, and we were all crying. Everybody was crying.
And I think sometimes that active presence is forgotten about.
Yeah.
You know, I remember in a philosopher, and I can't remember his name, but the idea that God isn't a watchmaker, that now this is a dated reference, used to wind watches, and then it would just go. But God's not just the one to set things in motion and takes a step back.
Right, he's active.
And I think that's what Liz was also referring to.
Yeah, and just that unbelievable, like visual to see, because I have a buddy of mine who is actively engaged in adopting children, and it really put a face for me to like the face of the Father, of and a reality to like how much He loves us, you know.
Just to clarify, I agreed with it was Brian Greenfield.
Greenfield.
Yeah, Greenfield. Yeah. So guys, say hello.
Yeah,
we've been yapping, and you've been sitting here patiently. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. There you go.
Am I good? No, I can't hear myself.
I hear you, Kenzie.
But I can't hear myself.
So introduce yourself. You're good.
Oh, well, me first?
Yeah, you introduce
yourself.
yourself.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Petty. I'm a junior at St. John's, and again, we're all in Indianapolis.
Special K. All right.
Hi, my name is Madison Morris. I'm a sophomore at St. John's, and I'm actually not in Indianapolis.
She's actually on the phone with me. That's how she's on the podcast. Yeah.
So you know what, then, kiddo? Why don't you start us off? There you go. Come on, Maddie. Tell us about what are your takeaways?
It was such an amazing experience. I felt really connected the whole time. Something that I used to define it was like breaking the boundaries of worship and like Mass. We normally think of Mass as like
more an obligation, maybe?
Yeah. Like an obligation a little bit. And sometimes it could be like a little bit dull at times. But really, like, the whole time, this was all new and it was all, like, fresh. And it really, like, at the beginning, I'm like, this literally is like a concert. We walked in and we were like, what is this? Like, are we in the right place? Like, this is not what I was expecting. Because it was just like, it didn't like it broke all the boundaries of what we thought. It broke all expectations, and it was so new. Like all the talks were so inspiring. Like you were talking about the guy with his about like apologizing on behalf of all dads, and that really struck with me. And the one about the woman with the miscarriage too.
Oh my God, that was
so
stunning.
Emotional.
Yeah.
And it was so well put, and all the talks just really resonated with me, and it was a life-changing experience.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Now, Maddie talked more about how, like, the talks and stuff, but, like, I'm not going to say Father Dave forced me to come, but
No, that was my version of Catholic guilt, completely.
but
Well
he
done.
guilted me into coming, and I did want to come right when they sent out the message that they were doing this, and I wanted to come, but none of my friends were coming, so I thought I wouldn't have a good time. And I've always, like, said I want to become closer with God, but I've just never, like, I don't want to say I've never had the chance to, because I have had the chance to. I just never did, and I'm really happy I came on this trip because I feel so much closer with God now, and I feel like I'm a much happier person right now, and I hope it stays like that when I go home.
Awesome.
That's great. That is so and awesome to hear. Was there one particular moment that you saw that you liked?
The music,
Yeah,
because
right.
I watched this like thing, and like they go to church every week, and like they sing like that at their church, and I was like, it must be so cool to witness that, and
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to witness that, and just witnessing that was amazing.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that the nucleus of the house band, who also go by the name of the Village Lights, is Sarah Kroger, Ike Ndolo, and Ricky. I just lost his name. I'll find it. I'll get back to him. I want to pay him that.
I liked Ike the most. I thought he was really cool.
Who? Ike?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Ike
like
was
really.
Ike Ndolo's
Got it
awesome.
from-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of those people are solo artists, and they put their egos aside to come and do this, and that's what NCYC is like. So this morning, what time did we get there? About 8:30.
Yeah.
And Sarah Kroger's doing a concert. Like, people pay to go see a Sarah Kroger concert.
Yeah.
At NCYC, she's the warm-up act.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was really cool.
I want to go see her in concert.
I
I
will-
think
The 13th.
Father Dave's helping make that happen. She'll be on Long Island.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
My mom
and-
said to
knows a
convince
guy.
you to take me, so.
Huh?
My mom said to convince you to take
Okay.
me, so.
All right. I will say this, that Mackenzie here, she, Special K, a.k.a. Special K, she befriended me. And I was happy. I needed a friend.
Oh, that's
right?
good. I'm glad
Whereas,
someone did.
Maddie over here was gaslighting me at dinner.
Oh,
Right.
this is
No, you gaslighted her.
this is twisted.
You
Should I tell the
gaslighted
story?
her.
You want to tell the story?
Okay. So, he calls me over. No, he doesn't.
He meaning Father
He does not
Dave.
call me over. So, Kira tells me, another girl on the trip, she's like, Father Dave called you over. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what does he have to say? I'm sure it's going to be something really enlightening and, like, it's going to impact my experience.
Oh, they know you.
So I go over, and he gives me a look, like, a little bit concerned, a little bit worried, a little bit like, what are you doing here? And he's like, are you okay? Like, and then I was like, you called me over. I was like, no, I didn't. Are you sure you're okay? Like, do you need anything? And I said, you're gaslighting me. Please stop. God wouldn't want you to do this.
Maddie, can I just make a suggestion?
Yes.
Kira said that Father Dave called you over.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know that Father Dave called you over?
No, I think you told her to say that you called me over so that you could like make a funny joke, and then he did it again. He did it twice.
So this is what it's like traveling with Father Dave, folks.
I love
we had
traveling with Father Dave.
23 students and then Father Dave. So he was a chaperone, but he almost needed a chaperone.
I'm not going to lie. There were moments where I got scared when Costa gave the look.
The look.
I was like, am I in trouble?
All right.
Well, guys, thank you so much
Yep.
for
Yes.
popping on. All right?
And appreciate it. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
And we got
Thank you.
We got two more. Best for last.
All right.
Best for last. Hop on, girls. All right.
These students are doing an amazing job. It's now midnight. We're up to the Sunday the 21st, and most of
That's
us
right.
were up around 6 this morning. So we're going
We're delirious.
We're going an hour 18. But the students are doing a great job.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Angelina, and I'm a sophomore at St. John's.
Nice. Angelina, are you in Indianapolis right now?
Yes, I am.
Even though it's now Sunday.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Emily Kelly, and I'm a sophomore at St. John's.
Well,
Yes.
welcome to both of you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll
thank
ask you guys the same question we've been asking. Takeaways, moments that you'll remember, anything particular?
All right, I'll start it off. I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say that this weekend has been so impactful to me. I grew with a relationship with God, but not only with God, with people around me. And I like that the people that were speaking at the conference, they talked a lot about how family plays a major role in religion and how God brings people closer together. So, so I just realized a lot about how, like, friendships and inviting people to come worship with you and just to be there for your family because God wants us to, and that He brought us all together to love each other.
And it's so much easier when you're not doing it by yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the supporting people around you. What a nice takeaway.
Yeah, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Emily?
I liked the music that they were playing. Like, it was, like, emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the music was good, and I liked how, like, everyone, like, started singing along with it and dancing with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they did a pretty good job with their music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, what was like the highlight of the weekend for you? Best moment, funniest moment. What do you got?
Probably the fun times with Father Dave.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Mr. Costa.
Nice. No
I didn't even put her up for that.
No offense taken.
Father Dave is just an amazing person to be around, and
Check is in the mail, girl. The check is in the mail.
Amazing's not always good, but continue.
and Mr. Costa too. Everybody here is
No,
just,
that was a pity one. I don't accept that.
everybody here is just amazing.
What about you? What was the takeaway? Biggest, most fun you had? What'd you do? What was the one thing you did?
Getting to know my friends better.
Ah, nice. Awesome. Yeah, it was a good weekend for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, girls. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah.
This was fun.
This was.
Yeah. Do you have any last takeaways? Any last thoughts?
Yeah. The whole conference geared around the importance of the Holy Spirit. I think was so necessary, not just for me personally. It was for me personally, but to hear it packaged, how the Spirit of the Lord is really needed, necessary in the life of the church, in the life of young people, and specifically in our relationship with growing towards the Father, in that relationship.
Yeah, that was a constant theme, and the constant theme too of self-acceptance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I was thinking about, I've gone to conferences in the past and World Youth Days, and there would always be speakers I would hear that would give me thoughts of I can grow in that. Like I could connect with them, I could identify, but I still have a lot of growing to do. Then with the other speakers where I would say, I'm not even that. It's not even not necessarily there, but I don't think like that.
Right.
And I think this was one of the first ones where I think every speaker was presenting something where I could grasp it. I said there's food for thought there, and I was just taking that as a sign of my own spiritual growth, because anybody that might have spoken in the past I couldn't connect with would really be more, probably for the most case, more on me.
Yeah.
And to have so many. And the kids were saying it so well, such a diversity of speakers coming from different backgrounds, different walks of life, different vocations. But you can find something in each one of them to say, I get what they're talking about. I don't get it quite as well as they do, and I'm not saying I have the faith that they do, but there's a glimmer of hope there that I could definitely grow more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too, and we we've talked about this a number of times too. The whole experience for us to be able to see our kids, immersed in the larger church, to have, like we were talking about before, that would be averaged to be 20 to 25,000 was 10,000, but these kids that were with us didn't know the difference.
Yeah, true.
And to be wrapped up in seeing other young people their age, at mass, at adoration, like going to confession, praying the rosary, screaming our Lord's name out at different times, I think was so uplifting for them. But also, too, as we were kind of sharing prior to the pod, setting up the podcast, how it can get discouraging. It can get discouraging when you're trying to amp it up on a smaller level, like us at the school, and they're not into it. They got no energy. They got no life, and they're kind of going through the motions of Mass. So for them to see this the way that it's packaged, it's really helpful for my own soul. But I think even for us as a group, is definitely impactful.
It's a model of. I don't know if I want to say what the church can be, because I think it is. It's just not is all over.
Right.
And they could see a sign of it's maybe more than they thought.
Yeah.
And the kids were saying that different types of music, different types of people, different types of worship.
Yeah.
It's just not the one that maybe they've only known their whole lives, or for some of those 12,000 maybe have never seen at all.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's
exactly.
And it's something to build on. So.
Yeah. So everybody, we're sorry for the hiccups, the the breaks in this, the talking over each other. But this was a fun experience, and something that we're going to kind of build on and have other guest speakers come in.
Absolutely, that's definitely the goal. What we're going to be moving on from here is an Advent series. So hopefully every weekend in Advent there'll be a reflection that we'll offer to help you maybe on your Advent journey and trying to make it more real. And I won't say too much about it now because we're going to talk about it then. But we'd really ask you to, if you're looking to deepen your faith a little bit more this Christmas, and to build up to Christmas, maybe take a listen, and we may be able to shed some of the wisdom that's been given to us over the years. And, maybe make Christmas a little more real, because that's a hard one, Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fighting every force out there trying to make it something bland and dull and stressful.
Well, gang, have a great night.
Thank you.
God bless.
Take care.